What's the good word, y'all? DKB here. Absolutely phenomenal win by the Jets. Puts us up 6-3 heading into the bye week. The Bills are now going to be 6-2, I believe, because they had an earlier bye week already. So we'll see what happens to them next week. But this puts us in sole position to potentially take over the division, which is a crazy thought. We have the Patriots the week after, but let's dive into some of the major things that happened in this game. And you guys know I'm the highlight review king, seeing as how being on the West Coast, I don't get all the games. But for some of the major highlights, so to start the game off, we see Braden Mann slip on the kickoff, and it's a little concerning, not a huge deal, but something that can be a little bit of a cause for concern. I think this was the same thing that occurred in the Patriots game, if I remember correctly, but sometime in like the third quarter. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but it definitely put us on a very short field to start off the game. But then we do get the Jordan Whitehead pick early in the game. Phenomenal. He ends up going in front of his man at just the right time, and for all the advice that Josh Allen was trying to give Zach Wilson in terms of what changed for him mentally, it did seem like he tried to force a little bit of a play there, and I think it was Dawson Knox he was trying to target on that play, but regardless, we came away with it. It was great to see. One of the things that was a common theme throughout the entirety of the game as well, you see the pocket get pushed. So a lot of what we see with Josh Allen is kind of what we wanted to really implement with Zach Wilson as well. You've seen a lot of rollouts. You've seen kind of a lot of bootleg plays, and then, of course, the play action movement. But whenever he was stable in the pocket in a shotgun snap, via a shotgun snap or just a quick 3-5 step drop back, you did see the pocket getting pushed consistently, which was great to see. We had sacks all over the place. I want to say it was Quan Alexander and not Jermaine. Quan Alexander and Sherwood that combined for a half sack. We had Quentin Williams with one. Jermaine Johnson got himself one. Multiple players throughout the game that was impacting this consistently. We also seen earlier on, which could have been a bad omen for us, Sauce Gardner. He bit on a double fake move. It really was kind of like a hesitation step by Stephon Diggs. It opened up a big first play right after the issue with the kickoff issue with Braden Mann. But we seen him bounce back, have a very, very strong game. We'll talk about his contributions for later. Turnovers were the huge piece, and then Josh Allen's performance as a whole. So the great thing to see was there were a lot of big plays that occurred, but it was generally only through Stephon Diggs. Everybody else on the roster was held below 50 yards. Gabe Davis wasn't able to do much of anything during this game, and it was fantastic because there was even portions where we seen C.J. Mosley go down, DJ Reed go down, and what we thought would have been scary injuries, but they were able to come back and continue to make an impact. And so I can take that all day if they have to live and die through Stephon Diggs being able to get the ball from Josh Allen. And with that being said, that is the other huge piece. We were able to not only come away with 2 interceptions, we forced a lot of the damage and a lot of the extra chain movement that was being done from Josh Allen on the ground. They also didn't have a huge day otherwise when we're talking about just their running backs alone. We didn't see huge contributions from the new weapon, Nyheim Hines, other than some kickoff returns. From what I remember, I think he might have had a punt return as well, but irregardless, great day for the cornerback group as a whole. Josh Allen's mobility, with that said, though, was a cause for concern. But if you want to have a silver lining with this, that was the best that we can ask for. The Josh Allen-led offense is absolutely elite. You have to really pick your poison. We settled for the fact that they had to utilize every other weapon other than Stephon Diggs to have consistent movement. Basically, we shut down the run game. Josh Allen converting a couple plays. He was responsible for 2 of the touchdowns on the ground game. I will take it. It's the best that you'll get other than, seeing another kind of Lamar Jackson type performance with our defense against them. So not a huge cause for concern. Elijah Moore being invisible again, that was something that, again, he's seen more snaps. I'm not sure exactly how many he played. But the fact that we can't even get him involved with the target, who knows? We'll see how that continues to, chip away at his mental well-being. But Corey Davis presumably should be back. Denzel Mims did not have a huge game by any means, but he was very much so a huge part of what we've seen on the ground game, different things like that. He did have that late first down conversion that was necessary on the 3rd and 5 in the fourth. So we are definitely seeing him being a factor in this game. He also had a huge play that could have made a difference in the first quarter. I want to say, anyways, it was just out of reach on a diving catch that was a little bit overthrown by Zach Wilson. There was also other plays where, Zach Wilson tossed it high. Denzel Mims took a big hit trying to take it down, just couldn't quite get it done. So they're still working on some chemistry and things, but it definitely looks like he should be factored in heavily moving forward, regardless of Corey Davis. Some of the other things, Michael Carter's still showing that he's elusive as ever. I want to say he was just about at 7 yards per carry throughout this game. We've seen him, especially in the fourth quarter, where the Buffalo Bills defense was getting gassed. Not only was the offensive line opening up some pretty decent sized holes, Michael Carter was effectively making like the first two guys that tried to tackle him, and a lot of it was arm tackling and just not really having good form. Irregardless, he took full advantage, and we seen during that final stretch of what was officially our last scoring drive for the field goal that put us up 17-20. You seen him make everybody miss. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. We averaged something like I want to say it was almost 6.7 yards per average throughout that drive, and seeing that we absolutely decimated the Buffalo Bills defensive front seven. It was a thing of beauty. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Zach Wilson talked about in his press coverage. He had no plans to take the ball out of his running back group's hands until he seen that it was ineffective. I did love the fact that we had some gutsy fourth down calls as well that were absolutely necessary. We seen it in the second quarter and the third quarter where we were able to convert first downs in those situations, and it was absolutely necessary. I mean, without those, it looks like the Buffalo Bills potentially could have ran away with it. And this was at a pivotal time for us as well. We've seen Josh Allen lead his team up to 14 points. We only have a field goal at that point. And so being able to stay, in the game with them, this was definitely a huge plus for us. And something that he's shown he's been able to be effective in calling when and where we want those to happen. We also had Zach Wilson, phenomenal game by him. He showed us a little bit of everything. He was able to convert some chains. He was able to make a couple big plays. We've seen him actually use his feet this time around in situations where it definitely looked called for to help out his team. We did have that lost fumble in the third quarter, but I mean, he didn't throw any picks. This was the best performance we could have asked to see him bounce back with. And then, of course, he's able to go out there and get himself a touchdown as well with that screen pass to James Robinson. So excellent. Sauce Gardner, coming back to him, he had the key interception after the fumble that occurred from Zach Wilson. It would have been very easy for his confidence to go down, but Robert Saleh spoke on that as well. Even with him biting on the double move, he learned from it. We did not see really any more huge plays against Sauce Gardner, as has been a common theme for him since preseason. So I love the fact that this occurred. I don't think he covers Stephon Diggs as often as we were expecting. From what I recall, I've seen DJ Reed lining up quite a bit, and you've seen Sauce Gardner kind of trailing other people around the wide receiver core, Gabe Davis, and I think he was even covering Dawson Knox at certain points, which we've seen him do before, and the Ravens game being the key one there. Jermaine Johnson had a huge game. He didn't go crazy, multiple sacks or anything like that, but coming off of that injury that had him gone, I want to say 2 weeks, to see that the closing speed was on display. So in the fourth, we've seen him track down Josh Allen, who had a lot of grain in front of him. He was looking to try to make something happen through the air. Jermaine Johnson closed that distance extremely quick, and it probably, even if Josh Allen got the pass off, would have impacted him and potentially got us another turnover. So that was great to see him come back and have a strong impact on the game, especially considering we brought out 10 defensive linemen, and I don't think he was leading the room in snaps on the field either. DJ Reed's huge pass breakup in the fourth quarter as well against Stephon Diggs, especially considering most of the damage was done against DJ Reed. But all in all, extreme. This was the most difficult game DJ Reed could have had, especially considering a lot of us probably thought Sauce Gardner would have been covering him. And then, as I mentioned, that final drive, you can't talk about it enough. And we did it through a bunch of people. It was Michael Carter, it was James Robinson. I think Ty Johnson even got a play or two during that drive. And then, of course, things stalled out for us a bit once we got towards the red zone. But we made it happen. We showed a clutch gene again. We came back from what could have been an overwhelming feeling that things were turning into this Patriots game again. Heading into that second quarter, we were able to score us a touchdown, make things a little bit more even. And then as we've shown in the second half of these games, we know how to either put teams away very, very clearly, or we make things extremely difficult for them to continue to do the things that they're doing. So these adjustments that are being made after halftime, they've definitely been improving. Kudos to the coaching staff. Kudos to Zach Wilson. Michael Carter showing that he can still effectively play essentially what is a lead back role in this offense while being spelled. Is something that can't be understated or overstated enough, I should say. But let me know, what was your guys' either favorite play, favorite moment, what this win would have meant to you guys. I definitely think it's a huge plus. It should open a lot of eyes within the NFL, considering there was always a lot of excuses about how we got to 5-2. At that point, the Patriots game kind of made everybody think, we're pretenders. This should make it pretty clear that the Jets are here to stay, and moving forward, we have a lot more to offer to this NFL to make things difficult. So shouts out to the team. Nobody wants to play in the second half. I'm looking forward to your guys' comments, and I will see you again. Peace.